My 25 male best friend, 25 male, enjoys having an affair with married women, but last week, he crossed a line which changed our friendship. Throughout the years, he's surprisingly had quite the luck in this department. It all began when he was just 18, cozying up to a married woman twice his age, a mom with her own kid. They both worked as waiters at a restaurant, and after some serious flirting, she gave in to him. In the 7 years since then, there have been a dozen more instances like that. All of them married or engaged, aged between 30 and 52. At first, I found it amusing, but as time passed, I've become utterly repulsed by his actions. Whenever we're out at a bar and he spots a bachelorette party, he's right there, trying his luck with the bride-to-be. He even volunteered to coach his nephew's Little League team just to get to know the moms. He's had to quit 3 different jobs because he couldn't keep his hands off his married co-workers, leading to ugly confrontations with their husbands while he was still on the clock. But what really crossed the line for me was just last week. You see, I recently got engaged and my fiancé's family threw us an engagement party. It wasn't a surprise, so we both got to invite whoever we wanted. Naturally, I wanted one of my former bosses, let's call him Jim, to be there. I'm a CPA at a big firm, and Jim was a great mentor to me when I was starting out. Though he moved on to a different job, we've stayed close. So Jim and his wife come to our engagement party. I'd never met his wife before, and she's stunning, by the way. At one point during the party, I see my friend chatting up Jim's wife, while Jim stepped aside for a phone call. I immediately intervened, pulling my friend aside and warning him to back off. He insists he wasn't doing anything wrong, but I could smell his crap from a mile away. Nonetheless, I hoped he'd take my warning seriously. I was completely wrong about my friend. A few weeks later, Jim calls me, sounding distressed. He explains that his wife had been acting strangely since the engagement party. He went through her phone and found messages with another man. They were sending each other explicit photos, and it was clear they'd met up for more than just talking. Jim was heartbroken, not even angry, just desperate for answers. He asked me to talk to my friend to find out more. After hanging up with Jim, I immediately called my friend and unleashed my anger on him. It felt like the end of our 20-year friendship. He's been apologizing non-stop since then. Besides his terrible behavior with married women, he's always been there for me. We've been like brothers since kindergarten. It's tough to cut ties with someone who's been such a huge part of my life, but I can't be a part of this anymore. I hope I'm doing the right thing. Update 1. It's been a week since I ended things with my friend, but I agreed to meet with him last night to hear him out. We grabbed a drink, and he apologized profusely, promising he'd never do anything like that again. So I took the chance to express just how disgusted I was with his actions. I couldn't stay friends with someone who deliberately tears families apart. I told him about Jim and his 2 kids, about how happy they were before he came along and shattered their lives. I asked if he felt any remorse for what he'd done. He said yes, but I could tell he was just feeding me lines. I choose to overlook his lies because I'm eager to uncover the whole truth. Jim's wife didn't want to share many details with him, so I promised I'd try to find out as much as possible. I insist on seeing the texts between them. He hesitates, but I threaten to leave and never speak to him again, so he hands over his phone. According to my friend, he messaged her on Facebook after the party, and they chatted there for a couple of days before switching to texts. The conversations quickly turned steamy, and it was obvious that Jim's wife was interested in a casual fling. She claimed to love her husband in the texts, but that didn't stop her. I'm shocked by this revelation, but my friend isn't. Apparently, this isn't the first happily married woman to take him up on his offer for no-strings-attached sex. Aside from the texts, my friend says Jim's wife just wanted a temporary escape, to be someone she couldn't be with her husband. Once she got it out of her system, she planned to return to normal. But when he starts sharing more details about their time together, I cut him off. I remind him that we're not teenagers anymore, and none of this is funny. I tell him I'm done with both him and Jim's wife. They both disgust me. I storm out and block his number. I know I should have done this years ago, but I didn't. I called Jim after leaving and lie, saying I couldn't get any details. I can't bring myself to tell him that his wife just wanted some wild sex. That's not something I'd want to hear. Jim and his wife plan to go to counseling. If it were me, I'd file for divorce. The level of disrespect is beyond belief, but maybe Jim is a better man than I am. My fiancé is relieved that I've finally cut ties with my former best friend. But I can't help but feel a sense of sadness. I hope he gets the help he needs before he crosses the wrong person's path.